Who's driving you?
Right, so I feel like less.
Okay.
We are live. Well, now that you're here, we're able to start our meeting. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Borough Clark Summit Special Meeting, August the 27th at 7 p.m. For attendance, we have David Folak, Junior Council Member James Mitchell.
Here.
Mr. Guzza,
Here.
Josh Mitchell,
Here.
Mayor Kelly,
Here.
Jen Basilega.
Here.
Junior Council Member Lauren Martell. Here. Jean Hallinan.
Here.
Mr. Shields
Here.
and Chief Yorn.
Oh, Chief Huron shouldn't be on there.
Okay,
I was revamping this.
we haven't heard from Ronnie or Kathleen,
No.
so they may even.
They may.
come on
Yeah.
in. Okay. The first item is our public comment, which we don't have any public comments, so we'll move on to our discussion. First is our trash delinquent collection letter.
In your packet, we have the letter that Drew drafted. And we are going to be getting the list ready. We have a new QuickBooks system that we've been learning. And
Right.
we just need to get the list of the delinquent residents. So I'm hoping by the next meeting, we'll have the amount, and how many went out, and keep you updated on that. But this is the letter Drew drafted.
Okay.
What is our collection? What is the incidence of under collection at this point? What's the update?
That's what I need to find out. To get a report, it's been difficult to get a report on the new system. We're working with, Vicky Tyler. She was our treasurer before Kevin. And she was tasked with, the conversion. So we have been going to her to get the guidance on how to pull up these reports. So I will have all that. I should have all that by the next meeting.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions on our trash delinquency issues? Okay, next item is our SAPA committee. We have two that have already volunteered.
Yes. John Kazista, John Jeffrey, I've worked with them both. They both showed their interest. It's really up to council.
Okay.
You'd
we'll
like to
be
go
voting
from
on
there?
that at our meeting.
They're both equally qualified, quite honestly. They've both been involved.
Well, I guess, Mrs. Claire, I think you're gonna be the lead person on that, right? So are these guys gonna be the lead and the alternate?
I
or-
would think these guys will be the lead and alternate.
Yeah.
You're okay? with
Oh,
this?
yeah, that's fine with me
You're
because
better off to have somebody who's really versed in it.
they're both very qualified,
They are.
so I would,
They are. We're lucky to have both of them, quite honestly.
Yeah.
But it'd be a matter of making decision who would be
Right.
the alternate, who is the main.
right,
So that would be the question, because
okay,
they both offered.
that sounds fine, thank you, Jen.
Sure.
And the next one is our clock tower.
No, the dry resolution, Jerry Berkheimer. Who's next after SAPA?
Oh, okay,
It's just a resolution I received from Berkheimer. It
Okay.
just
right, yeah.
it just changes from Virginia to myself.
And this
That's
is
the
just a
liaison.
standard form
Yes,
letter.
it is.
Exactly.
Yep, just
yeah,
changing from Virginia to myself. That's it. So if that's,
right,
we
right.
could wait till the meeting to vote on that.
And the next is our clock tower. And, I was able to get some information all the way back to the original Worley in the tenant building originally, and then he sold it, and all the information, was emailed to me. And I just emailed it. I'm gonna bring it on computer in tomorrow for Jen too, because we have all the information on that. And we figured maybe you can take a look at it too, to see who is actually, it wasn't done in the deed. For us to, put the clock up or anything like that. The Rotary did all that, so we just have to feel who is responsible for taking it down. And I think Jen said it's like $2,000 to take it down, so,
That was the estimate. I did send Phyllis an email
okay, good.
letting her know that we had discussed, council discussed taking it down, that we've also discussed that there could be some issues with a safety issue because of its age being
Right.
30-some years old. I haven't heard back anything from
Sure,
Phyllis, but it also could have been because they didn't meet yet,
right.
the
that's
Rotary.
Exactly.
So, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet.
And the thing of it is, when the deed is transferred to the new owner, they take up the same liability as the previous one unless it's specified out of the, which it never was, so.
You come in tomorrow, we'll get that worked out,
Okay.
printed out, and
But just to flesh out the issue,
pardon.
nobody really wants to do the repairs on this car. Not the Rotary, not the township, not the
Right.
borough.
Right.
I know there's been residents who spoke about it, but they're not, we haven't heard anything from them.
It's more to repair it at this point
I don't
than
think
to
it can be
replace it.
repaired, yeah.
And that's where the Rotary is at with it, so.
And then if we decide, we'll put a new clock in or the Rotary will put a new clock in at a better location for us. That's-
Right, that they're also dealing with, down at the Triangle, the state owns that. And they're trying to get a clearance through them so that they could, I guess the clock has to be so tall because of the trucks and stuff like that, so.
And then the 9/11 memorial, we could move to another park or something like that in the town, in the borough, or.
Well, once they go over the deed that's filed, it looks like this was granted to us and it was never changed, so that.
Well, why don't we wait and see the deed?
Yeah.
We
But
can,
then-
I'd be glad to check all that out, and Drew.
Oh, sure.
So what about the power box?
Mm-hmm.
Like where, is that gonna, that's
Well-
also with the deed, if you're thinking we may have that may be our power box?
Well, you really have to look into the deed to see
Okay.
how far back it actually goes, because we're pretty close to the clock with that box, so. If that whole triangle was deeded to the borough, granted to the borough, not deeded to us, but, or even an easement, then we would be able to leave it there without any issues, I would assume, but I'm
So we'll wait
not an
check it out
attorney, that's for
and go
sure.
from there, okay?
You'd have to check into that and see.
Yeah, I can take a look and see, it depends, if there's an easement for the power box, I would assume that there would be, if they put a power box in, but again, it's gonna be in the deed or in a subsequent easement that's attached to that property that would run the land.
Right,
So once I'm able to see that, I can have an answer for everyone as far as the three issues are the power box, the clock tower, and the memorial, correct? Those are the
Right.
three things that are kind of in question as far as ownership and maintenance of them.
right.
Because there is just one thing with statute of frauds, where when you transfer land, you have to do it. So hopefully, if we had like an oral agreement, that may not be enough if we don't have anything in writing, so. And the only thing I'd be concerned about is if they decide if we don't have a right to the power box, if they say we can't use the power box, what are we gonna do then?
Right, yeah.
I did get two. I did get two. Quotes, I apologize. The one we've had forever, that was from Walsh Electric. They quoted us $5,100. But then we got a completely different scope of work
Yeah.
from Lieber and Bonham. They give it between 12 and 15,000. And then there was another company that was here, and I apologize, I can't remember what they said they're not even gonna touch it because it's too complicated. So we kind of have to, it's a strange scope
Sure,
between all three. So That's what we're working with right now,
And what do we use the power box for?
Christmas lights.
Okay, so that's solely as just a Christmas.
And it powered the clock,
Oh, and the clock.
right? So that was, if
Yeah.
we were, not powering the clock anymore, we were talking about moving the power box to the borough, to this building. And that's where I got these, the very different quotes.
So effectively, if we weren't able to use the power box right now, like, we wouldn't be able to have our Christmas lights up.
Correct. We would not be able to turn the Christmas lights on. That is true.
I mean, we did have issues with that one year where they would not let us step foot on to light the Christmas lights unless Lou Vitale apologized to the Deckers, and he said, I don't owe him one, but we had to do it because we had to get the Christmas lights lit, so that, I mean, we don't want to run into that issue again, so.
Well, we'll take a look at the,
But once
whatever
we
we
look,
can find out.
once you get your teeth into the actual deeds, that'll
Oh, better, yeah.
tell you what the story will be there. Okay. And the next is our budget review.
So I went through this, our treasurer and myself went through this with a literal, as they say, fine tooth comb. If the finance committee wants to meet, is it a half hour before the meeting on Wednesday, I can give you details on some numbers here that probably aren't gonna make sense if you're not familiar with certain situations on here. I have it. I have all the information. Also, just to know that we don't have our 2024 audit, is not done yet.
Right.
Our auditor was pregnant. So she had her child during this time, so they're finishing it up, but
Okay.
if the finance committee wants to meet, wants to look over it first and then. Feel
Yeah,
free to ask
I mean,
questions.
we've just been looking at it briefly. I did notice it was like total expenses on page 5. It looks like the January to July 2025. Compared to our year-to-date budget is, it's about $160,000 difference. And more expenses than we budgeted.
Correct.
I mean, I don't know if there's a quick answer for that, or is it?
What I could tell you is. There is, okay, so when you get down to like 392,000, this is the interfund transfers that have been done. And from there, and transfers from other funds, that is where the auditors will make their own recommendations. So those numbers aren't solid yet until the auditors are finished. We also have two situations. Under gross profit, where we have wage transfer to sewer. And then that number is, the total is 97,000 some. And then we have benefits transfer to sewer. Okay, so these two, those numbers come to around $190,000. We are checking with our auditors. That amount of money is coming from our sewer account, which is paying 25%. Hold on 1 minute. So we are paying our DPW out of the salary. The DPW is being paid 25%, and Nicole, who does the sewer billing, is being paid 33% from the sewer fund. That's where these numbers are, okay? Then the benefits from the transfer from the sewer fund, that is the DPW is getting paid 25%, Nicole is getting paid 65% of the benefits are being paid through the sewer account. And that's because of the sewer work being done and Nicole with the sewer billing. So this is what we are relying on our auditors to justify that, and that if that is correct in our bookkeeping, then we would gain that amount back. Understand? It's a lot. That's why I said if you want to meet before then.
And the other thing I was looking at expenses here, and that we have like salaries of 400.1. And then we have employee benefits, 400.15. The year-to-date and the actual are kind of different. I assume that's because there's maybe like a payroll or something. We have extra payroll.
Well, sorry, I'm not sure what you're referring to exactly.
So for the salary for manager, DPW, foreman, police chief.
Right.
We have 95,000 for the budget,
Okay,
and then it's 109,000 actual.
that's what I was just explaining. That's when it's kind of hard to explain unless I'm pointing this out to you. What you're talking about. If you come down to wage transfer to sewer, you have these numbers down here. That should be transferred from the sewer fund to the general fund. After it's finished, after we're finished with the auditors.
Okay.
So that is where you saw the amount that, we looked like we were behind, but there are different adjustments that have to be made here after the auditors are done. And we want to make sure we are putting everything in, classifying everything properly. We have a few more questions for them, but that's where it's about another 180,000, close to $190,000.
Okay, so that's
That
from the
we would
sewer
have
fund,
from the sewer fund.
but
to
the sewer
general.
fund's not gonna be going to like salaries for full-time police.
It's not for the police, and I apologize. That generally is for, that is for the salary for part of Nicole's full-time salary, part of the DPW's full-time salary. It has nothing to do with the police chief or the manager.
So that's like 400.140. That's the classification that you're saying.
Okay.
Some of those would.
Yeah, we did it to 121, but we realized it wasn't the police chief and the manager, so secretary, yeah, yes. So that's why our numbers we're not perfect yet. But we have an idea where the numbers are gonna change after the audit is finished.
How about with the 156 healthcare? Looks like that our year-to-date is $70,000 more than what we budgeted for. That's at 400.156.
Okay. Okay. I would be glad to check, Bob, because I'm not 100% sure. Don't want to give you anything.
I
if
would think
don't
that
know.
would be like some kind of a fixed number. We kind of know how much we're gonna have. to
I'll find out.
spend on this.
I'll find out.
Okay, very good.
Absolutely. We have we ran into a few, does anybody want to meet before the meeting or is this where you want to go from here?
Well, actually, then what do we need to exactly do? Because I know we spoke it was a month or two ago, there were some issues.
There isn't on this, and the reason is the dollar amount we were talking about that was not counted, that was in the QuickBooks version of what was approved. These numbers are solid,
Okay.
and that number was included in the Excel version. So that's the good news. We don't have to make up for that 45. It's already counted in here. So that was the very good news. We do have a few items that I need to speak with, different municipalities that normally pay us for workers' comp insurance, a certain percentage. They haven't been billed since 2019. So we've got some catching up to do. And I will talk to council more about that when I get more information. Okay.
I mean, I guess my perspective to answer your question would be if we had to make, if the finance committee needed to make a recommendation to council to consider something, which I think where we made up that 45,000 was gonna be one such thing.
Agreed.
Then yes, I would
Okay.
think we would want to meet. If we don't need to do that,
Okay.
I think it would be beneficial for all of council to get an update on exactly where we stand year to date as you iron some of these things out. So that doesn't need to be a finance committee thing. I don't think. It would just be good to hear that report
And we'll,
in meeting.
when we get that audit in and these numbers get cleaned up a bit, that'll be able to get you. And I'll look into what you were talking about, Bob.
And one last thing, I know that it's usually traditionally in September, that's
Yes.
when we start kind of drafting of the budget for the next year.
Yes.
We have to have that finalized generally by November and voted on by December.
Right.
Do you feel comfortable doing
I
that?
do.
Okay, nice. This will be your first one.
This will be my first one. This has been terrific. Like I said, our treasurer is, he's worked with budgets many years, and we've really gone over this, literally every single number, where it's coming from, why it's there, and why, if it's not correct, why it's not. So that's what we've gone with the entire every line of this budget.
Well,
So
that we should schedule a meeting on for September. That is the finance committee to do the preliminary budget. So that doesn't
Sure.
need to be next week. I don't think you're ready for next week. but we
oh,
need to
yeah, no,
communicate
I'm
on
not. Yeah, I correct, yeah. I thought that was somewhere September into the beginning of October, if I'm wrong.
that. Yeah, later in the month, I think usually.
Right. Okay, so if there's any questions after you look through this, please let me know, and if not, then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Jim.
Perfect.
Okay, now the next item is reviewing on the meeting for next week.
I do have one thing just to add to the agenda. I believe Mark Spatz is going to come next week.
Oh,
As everybody here knows, Mark and Bill Rissy have been working on various potential projects, at the park to take advantage of, that we can consider to take advantage of our community development block grant funds. So I believe Mark is gonna come next week to speak to that and perhaps bring us some recommendations. So if you can plan
Put him
for that
on.
under public comment.
Sure.
Actually, what about the crosswalks? Have we heard anything about that, or? I know there was some talk about crosswalks with some grant money.
No, we haven't gotten any information from it yet. Nope.
The other thing is that I want to bring to council's attention, and I spoke with Jen about briefly. We got a letter in earlier this month regarding a tax assessment appeal for 2 properties. It was signed off by the Tax Assessment Appeals Board, by the Don Federson from the county, and by Christopher Osborne from the Edmond Heights School District. They all stipulated to the reduction. I just want to let council know they got that, and they're asking for our concurrence on that stipulation to reduce the tax assessment for 2 properties. So prior to me doing that, I just want to let council know about that. Now, doesn't need a vote by council, but I just want to give council a heads up prior to signing that. And if we were to try to fight it, we have to get it would cost money to get some sort of, get
Appraisal.
get appraisal for the property. You have to go before the Tax Assessment Appeal Board. And it seems like the county, the school district, and the assessment appeal board's already agreed to it, so it's already been done.
Yeah.
So I just want to give council the heads up that I am signing off on that and stipulate to it with all the other parties that were to that.
No, that's definitely a good idea. And at the end of the day, if the school district can do the work for us, since they get more tax dollars than we do.
They do the bulk of the tax assessment appeals that I've seen come through. So this is the first one I've had since taking over for Mary Claire. I wasn't sure what their policy was, but I just want to give council the heads up that I am signing off on that prior to doing so.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Is anybody?
Jerry, this a minor thing, on the letter going out to the people for the delinquent trash bills, you know, anybody jump in and attack me if they're late, but I was just noticing there. In the second last sentence, where it says this will be, I'm looking at the word final. Should there, for clarification purposes, should that word final be capital letters? The reason I say that is someone might go, well, Jesus, you know, I only got the one letter the one time, I thought I still had time, you know? And that way it's sort of, because they would know better than there'd be more time. Right. But could be wrong.
I think, Harry, in regard to your concern, I think the top line that's underlined is pretty self-explanatory and kind of jumps out at them in
Well, yes.
there at the beginning that immediate payment is required.
Yes, it does. But I just thought for emphasis, this is something that just struck me, that's all. But not like for that, that's for sure.
And I guess the one thing is you're gonna you're just gonna, you're gonna give them a list, or we're gonna send out to a list of people, but we don't know about if they are in bankruptcy or anything like that, do we?
No.
No. Do they do, you ever get like any sort of notice of bankruptcy filing?
Oh, I have, well, it wouldn't matter, Rite Aid. But that was just for sewer billing. I believe, honestly, I know of one resident. We received paperwork, of one resident. That was it.
Okay,
We get to adjourn.
need money here to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
That's really painful.
He does. Jerry, would you pop open your computer again for us for a sec? We might be able to just take care of that now. Yep. Let me get off time here.
That's probably the easier thing to do.
You would have to take it out.
You just have to disconnect service to it.
Disconnect service and
Should probably not be that expensive.